Hello out there, you wonderful people. This is Andre, the Game Idea Guy. Thank you once again for lending me your time and your ear listening into another Gamer's Thoughts video, discussion. And this time I'm going to be talking about the reason the Switch is quote-unquote underpowered. And it was one of those things after having conversation with people, it becomes pretty obvious when you think about it, but it's not so obvious for people who just want to say, oh, I don't like this, and these are the reasons I don't like it, but then you look at what's going on with the technology and why certain things work the way that they do. These same people will consistently avoid the one thing that makes sense that you're pointing out to them, and they'll be like, oh, well, it's still not good enough for me. But, fine, it's not good enough for you. No one cares. But the point that you're arguing is explainable. Now, I'm going to go on the record again, as I have done many times before, and say I'm not a tech head. I'm interested in tech, but it's not my forte. It's not where my mind works its best. I'm more the creative and imaginative type than the technological type, even though I love technology. That said, I'm going to go ahead and point out, and this is something Shadow Fox has said before to people, and a few others have said this as far as I've seen, that the Nintendo Switch itself is running on 11 watts of power. The machine is built to be efficient. It's not built to give you the best graphics and the highest quality textures and all of that. It's not built for that. It's built for running things efficiently. And that is unacceptable for some people. The problem is the Wii U was built the same way. It was built with efficiency in mind. And honestly, I want to say the Wii was as well. But the Wii U was doing 3 to 4, 5, maybe 6 times the stuff that the Wii could on, I believe it was 25 watts of power. It was somewhere in that area. And the Wii, I think, ran at 40 or 60, somewhere in that range. So the Wii U was doing more than the Wii could on less power, less energy. And that's the thing with the Switch. The parts in the Switch can run the games that are being put on it. The problem comes into the fact that the Switch has to be able to be portable. If it wasn't portable and they could slam a couple hundred watts of power into this thing, it could possibly output far better graphics and could look a lot better, and some games could run smoother. It's just how it's set up, and people don't want to accept that for some reason. But the fact that you can get a game like The Witcher 3 running on the Switch and it's only running 11 watts of power, when the Xbox One and the PS4 and the upper 400 watts of power when they just boot up. So here's the scenario I want to run by people. If Sony or Microsoft were to take the parts that are in the Xbox One, the PS4, or even the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro, and to get them into a machine that is of similar size to the Switch, maybe quite a bit thicker because those parts are bigger, you'd get the same results. If they could get the machine to run nearly as efficiently as the Switch, you would get very similar results. Very similar results. The games wouldn't look as good. They'd run poorly most of the time until they were optimized, which is something that the Switch is good for. When companies take their time and do optimization, games run fine. They look okay. They look decent. And they're not horrible. They're comparable to their counterparts, at least the baseline Xbox One and PS4. But people don't want to understand that. If you were to take those parts out the PS4 Pro or the Xbox One X and shove them in a tiny box that's supposed to run on its own, and the battery running at 11 watts of power, mind you, this thing lasts, what is it, like 4 to 5 hours, sometimes 6 hours, depending on the game, because it does draw more power depending on what game is playing. It lasts by itself longer than a PS4 controller, while running these games that people say it should not run. Think about that. And it's doing it on less power than those controllers are possibly running. Think about that. And then the flip side of that, if the Switch was running at the higher wattages that the PS4 and the Xbox One X are running, the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X are running, you wouldn't be able to hold the thing. They'd be melting because it'd be far too much heat, and they'd be burning people and possibly blowing up like the Samsung Note Galaxy Note 7s were. It would be dangerous for people to hold in their hands because of how much power, how much wattage, how much heat that would create. So, yeah, maybe the Switch isn't going to give you the best graphics. It's not going to give you the best frame rates in every game. But guess what? It's running all those games that people kept saying couldn't be run on the daggone machine. And that's because of the parts in it, the technology in it. It's built for efficiency, not built for power. This is something that I understood a long time ago, and I'm surprised that so many people would remain willfully ignorant of this and then say that they are like pillars of the gaming community, or that they are in the know in the gaming community. I'm sorry, especially when these people proclaim to be tech heads. If I can understand the technology of the devices better than you can, you're not an actual tech head. Me, I know I'm not a tech head. I'm not going to say I know how every intricate little part works. I'm not going to say I know how certain shaders run. None of that. I just get a basic understanding of how the machines operate and what they're capable of doing. And then I go from there. But goodness, man, people, what is wrong with y'all that y'all can't figure this out? It's not difficult. None of this is difficult to understand. And another example, what was it? What machine was it? And it's having a hard time now because it's not doing any of the crap that they said it was. But the Smok Z. The Smok Z is supposed to be a portable PC. Running a lot of the same games that the Switch can run. And the frame rates are horrible. Power consumption is up there. The device runs hot from what I remember hearing about it. Even though they still haven't really put out like a working version of it for their, backers. And it has issues running. But then there's a legitimate one out there. It's the GPD, what's the name of it? Like, I know it's a little portable like laptop that you can that has the controller built into it. Well, it's more like a mini computer, a mini PC, but it runs again. Same games are running from like you're playing on Steam or you're playing on Good Old Games or any of the gaming stores that are on there that are on PC. You're running into the same issues. So like where you're having the lower frame rates, the lower quality picture. And people are okay with that in these other devices, but these devices are running at wattages and power that's higher than what the Switch is doing. Even the NVIDIA Shield itself runs at a much higher wattage than the Nintendo Switch. Even though the technology and the parts in them are similar. That's because of the design choices that, that are made by Nintendo. They wanted their machine to run efficiently, and they wanted something that could be held in someone's hand comfortably for a long period of time, or as comfortably as they could get it without it overheating and burning the person that's holding it, or melting the Joy-Cons off of it, or any number of things. If the Nintendo Switch was running at 300, 400, 500 watts in your hand, that machine would be dangerous. I'm just putting it out there. But like, there are cell phones that run hotter than the Switch does, and that use more wattage than the Switch does. You've ever played a decently intensive game on your cell phone and then put your phone in your pocket and felt how hot your phone was afterwards? That's what Nintendo was trying to avoid with the Switch. Again, this is all very easily explainable and very easily understandable, but it's like there are people that just for some reason can't comprehend these little things that are very easy to pick up and understand. And again, claiming to be tech heads, claiming to be in the know, claiming that they can see what's happening in the industry, and that they have these insider sources that are telling them this and that, and that they have all this information, but they can't see the one simple thing that's sit in front of their faces. Yeah, I'm capable of figuring it out. Something's wrong with that picture. That's all I got to say. But I'm done ranting and ragging on these people. It's not even to try to make anyone look stupid or make them feel like they're inferior or whatever, because there are some people who think that. It's just that I see what you don't see. I see the things that you're neglecting to look at. And if I can see them as a non-tech head, you should be able to too, especially if you're in the know. Especially if you have sources that give you information on specs and things like that know about these things. I don't. But it's quite clear for me to understand a lot of the nuances that go on with this technology, but yet you can't. That's a bad look. But that's it for this. If anyone's interested, you want to support the channel, my book is out. My poetry book is out. My first one is out. I'm making more. I'm working on more. But the links are down in the description for that, for anybody who's interested. The ebook and the paperback. The paperback costs more, obviously, for printing cost. Anyway, thank you guys very much for listening. Keep your eyes and ears out for more stuff from me. And until the next time, please enjoy your games. Peace out.